sitting down in my living room, like, we like what we can do to, what we enjoy CSW. So I told my friends, like, hey, why don't we do some interviews and see if they want to do some interview, because I know that every time we went to CSW that first year, everybody been concentrating in the ring of the event. So my friends and me, like, hey, could we just start our own thing? Like, see if when everybody is concentrating inside the ring at the event, why can't we go as the manager of CSW? Like, first thing first, what can we do? Like, interview the wrestlers while there's something going on in the ring. So we talked to the manager of CSW, like, hey, we start something new. We started, you know, to help with CSW. Why can we give a recap of interviewing the wrestlers inside the, backstage, and then give their thoughts and everything. So with Spring is to Action, that's how we started in the beginning, is by giving wrestlers the interviews, at least something that we can manage to help to get more spot ons, like something that we can bring up to social media about the spotlight, for giving the wrestlers names out there. So yeah, like when we start doing the just a basic interview, that's how Spring is to Action. Just we started with CSW.
Very nice.
Yes.
So, can you give us your top five male wrestlers of all time?
My top five male wrestlers of all time. Are you talking about with the indie wrestlings, or the ones that I grew basically growing up?
Let's go with not indie for right now. So just the ones that you kind of grew up with.
Okay. Back to the beginning. My top five growing up was Hulk Hogan, and then after that I got to Shawn Michaels, then
Okay.
Stone Cold, The Rock, and then other than that, by when it gets to the 2000s, I would say Triple H.
Very nice.
Yes.
Uh, so we have another co-host that's working right now. That's why he's not on. So I'm gonna do this one for him.
Okay.
Uh, top five managers of all time.
Top five managers of all time. That's a great one. Well, number one, Paul Heyman, and number two, I got to give was that Fuji, the one who managed Yokozuna,
Yep,
and then
Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji, and then number three, I will give Jimmy Hart,
Very nice.
and then number four, I will give what's his name, Jim Cornette,
Nice.
and then number fifth, I would say I don't grew up knowing his era, but I did see what he did back then. I would say Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Love that list.
Thank you, I
Um,
appreciate it.
so uh, what's it like working for ruthless Randy Root, who we've had on this podcast before?
Yes, and Rootless Randy Root, I would say that when I first started talking with Randy Root, um, it was actually we did it at his garage, and I did it on his very own podcast. And the thing is that he did the first episode of his Rude Awakening with us, with Spring is the Action. And I remember that, yeah, when we did his first interview with him, yeah, it was a great success on his part. But as the business goes with CSW, um, I remember that we did some podcasts at Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, and the thing is that when we did our part there, that's when Randy Rude, when he um, owns CSW, he asked like, "Hey, I want you the boys, to come back and run Colorado Springs Wrestling," because he said that if it wasn't for Springs into action, Randy Root did tell us that if it wasn't for Springs to action, if it will not Randy Root would not be going on his business and run to CSW. So during that time we were like I said, um, we went to see which every company we go in Colorado just to interview wrestlers and just to get their names on social media. So with Randy Rude, he said, "Hey, we need you to come back with CSW," and I'm managing and owning CSW. So when we got to CSW, Randy Rude loves the potential of us, and that's why Randy Rude, he always support me like a brother. That coming back to CSW and do what we always love to do with him. So he's like a great man and a great brother. That having us with CSW.
Very nice. So when you do your commentary, you put like a lot of like emphasis into your commentary, which I love because it brings so much to the show. Is that just like your natural personality, or is that something that you work on it? When you get ready to do the commentary, or
Pretty much when I do commentary, it's pretty much it's just like my side hobby. Like I enjoy the business because when you grow up in in the wrestling business and you watch the ones on TV, pretty much it's like what I manage to love to do. So when I do the commentary, it's something new that we started doing the commentary before we only do interviews with Springs to Actions and CSW. So with the commentary, like I said, is that one event at CSW, when Randy Rude gave us the spotlight on stage just to learn and what you need to do on stage. Basically, we just wanted to just do interviews, but during the whole the whole show, we were just quiet. We were just like yeah, we were just doing interviews, and then me and my friend, one of my colleague with Spring is the Action, we're just sitting down there. We're just like, do we need to do something? And I know we're just like interview guys, and I talked to my colleague like, let's try commentary. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can commentary for just one match, and then when it was like around the fifth or sixth match of that CSW event, we tried commentary. We try it, and then we did one match and see if I can do like the ones on TV. And when I did the the commentary on that one match, me and my colleague, I would say it's not a pretty pretty good. It's not bad, and that's how we said like, hey, should we keep going? And I look at and then my colleagues like, yeah, let's keep going. So that event, that's how we started, you know, um, doing commentaries and keep enjoying commentary and take actions and calling out the match from then until now.
Very nice. Um,
Okay,
can
well,
you give us?
I'm gonna break in here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Tony.
want to, because you've been asking so nice questions. I'm gonna ask him one of my personal favorite questions. Sir, I want your top 5 indie female wrestlers.
Ooh, my top five indie female wrestlers. This had to be because I just only the ones that grew up in Colorado. So my top five indies growing up. Number one, I would say let's say with CSW. Number one, I got Tyra Rusame.
Okay.
And then number two, I will go that was that from Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. I got that she's in the other company. I got Abaddon.
Yeah, that's a good
And,
one.
and then number three, who I got growing up, I got that she was that I know from both CSW and Rocky Mountain Pro. I got what's her name? Heidi Hauser. And then
Yep.
number four, I got what's her name? Let me see. She I did her a lot.
Mhm.
Uh, Damn, there's plenty of choice of females wrestlers. Um, I would say damn. Yeah, you just give me a second here.
No problem.
Yeah, there was this one female that I know that from Rocky Mountain Pro, and well, I don't know what happened to her. It was um, at the tip of my tongue. There was uh, I forgot her name, but let's just say that last but not least, um, I think that the growing superstar on the indie wrestler that I like that at CSW, I gotta put her on my list because she's our first ever champion, Pandemonium.
Yeah, Panda's awesome, and I think that's what Tony was trying to get at because he's probably, besides you, probably one of the biggest Pandemonium fans out there.
Well, I
So
would have put her number 1 and Kaya number 5, but that's just me.
I knew you would, but that's because you're. If you could have a shrine built for Pandemonium, you probably would.
Who
Yeah.
says I
Um.
don't?
Okay, that's a little weird, but so can you tell us a little bit about what your thoughts were on the Red Rock Rumble this year, which you did a great job calling, by the way.
Yes, the Red Rock Rumble. I'll give my thoughts. I would say, when Spring is the Action hosted the Red Rock Rumble from last year and this year, it's a great successful because the reason why I love the Red Rock Rumble is because it's a 40-man battle royal, and whoever is the winner at the battle royal, the owner of CSW, Randy Ruth, allow us always interview and give our thoughts the number one contender of the CSW championship, inside the ring. And that's why Red Rock Rumble, every time Spring is the Action hosted, I love it. I just love calling out the matches and having each wrestlers, coming out the battle royal, and just give our, calling out the actions and feeling the excitements and seeing that my family always go over there the Red Rock Rumble and always support me and Spring is the Action, the Red Rock Rumble. So yeah, it's a great event, and I always loved it.
Very nice. And I loved your pure excitement when Panda won this year too. Like when I watched it on
Yeah.
YouTube. I mean, you
Well,
literally almost came out of your chair. So
Oh yeah.
I was gonna end the controversy right here. Was there a clear cut
controversy.
winner? Was there a clear cut winner of the Red Rock Rumble, or does Killian have a beef?
Um, I would say that I watched the Red Rock Rumble, a lot, and I can say that when Pandemonium clothesline Killian Crow over the top rope, I could see that, like, you could say that Killian Crow's feet touched fast to the floor, and Panda was second right here, and that's why I see that I can tell that Pandemonium declared the winner of the Red Rock Rumble.
Okay, so you
See,
heard it right
Tony,
here.
this man
You
knows.
heard it. So you heard it right here, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Killian Crow. You heard it from your very own commentator. You
Yep,
lost. So therefore,
yep.
Yes.
sucker, you are a two-time loser of the Red Rock Rumble, and Miss
And,
Pandemonium won the match. Thank
yep.
you.
And, and and we had him on like about a couple days after, or not long after the Red Rock Rumble, and he was crying like a baby. Like, oh, my feet didn't hit. The referee wasn't on the right side. And we were like, dude, it's like, dude, you lost.
You lost.
I that
The whole crowd was going for Panda, and I was going for Panda too. Inside right here, that I wanted. Pandemonium is not just the number one contender for the CSW championship. I wanted her to held the Spring is the Action Red Rock Rumble championship belt.
absolutely. So, who's the biggest wrestler you've ever met or had the opportunity to either call their matches or be around?
um, I think the best one that I call the matches. I would say going back to because if you guys go to YouTube, and it was one of the highest views from our channel. I would say if you guys remember watching CSW America from last year, I would
Yep.
say it was Lipto against Filter in um, anywhere goes match. Like, they throw out some chairs, they throw candlesticks, tables, all that. I think it was the best one because it hyped up the crowd, it hyped up the me, and I would say that that was an interesting matchup. If you guys watched that match, from last year, CSW America from our channel.
Very nice. I actually went and watched that the other day. So,
It was an
uh,
exciting match.
yes, it was. So, what I like about CSW is the variety of characters from Mop Boy to, some of the others. Uh, what do you think about, what's your opinion on some of the diversity in the characters that CSW has?
I love it. They got potential. They got talents, and when they're outside, busting, what they could show to the CSW fans and crowds and entertainment. I loved it. Especially like what you said, Mob Boy. I know Mob Boy for quite a years now, and every time we do some interviews with Mob Boy. That guy's an entertainment. He knows how to to pull it out there in front of the crowd, and to our Spring is the Action interviews. So my boy, he's an entertaining guy, and that's one of them. The other one that I would say who's entertained me with CSW, and that he's been working with from other promotions. I would say if you guys know him, he loves brings the action. My favorite guy that he comes to CSW and to our interviews, none other than the final boss, Bruce Wayans.
Somehow I knew you were gonna say that name because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because I worked with I did started with Bruce Wayne's doing interviews in Rocky Mountain Pro all the way to CSW, so he knows each other very well. So when we cut some interviews or whatever actions in the rings, he knows what's up. He knows that when we interview with him, he brings all the entertain, to Spring the actions and to us and throughout from Rocky Mountain Pro to CSW.
Yeah, well, I have a kind of a funny story. We interviewed Bruce Wayans, and then he had one of his wrestling buddies. The and he wanted to show us what he wanted to show us his wrestling buddy. Well, he flipped it up in the air, and it landed on his keyboard for his computer that he
Yeah.
was, and it knocked the sound out for like
Ooh.
5 or maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So he's still talking because he doesn't know the sounds out, and we're like, "Hey, buddy, we can't hear you."
Yeah. Bruce Wayans. Whatever he does, that's on him.
Yeah, that's true. Um, so we know that Spring Into Action is also a podcast. How'd you get into like the podcasting uh, side of it?
Um, we started it, like I said, when we got with CSW years back. So when we did the interview, when we do the interviews and all that, um, we tried to bring out social media, and that's how it slowly grows that beginning of the year. But like what you said with the podcast, the more times we did the interviews at CSW, I talked to my teammates like, hey, could we try, giving our thoughts and everything, about CSW or anything in the wrestling business. And then, when we were at my house over here, we keep brainstorming like, whatever we pitch in ideas, let's bring out on social media, and we do we do some podcasts at my house, telling whoever can be our guests, and then that's how we do it, and that's how we do some podcasts here at my house, and throughout to the social webs, and that's how we pitching ideas, like bring it out there on podcasts, and that's how we started thinking ideas just to share social media on everything.
Um, so we usually ask this in a wrestling form, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit. If you
Okay.
had a dream match to commentate from any generation, any era, what would it be and why?
um the three matches that I would commentate, are you saying like through especially with WWE and AEW?
Yeah, like any generation. Like it could be back in Hulk Hogan's era, it could be up until now, just anywhere in between. If somebody came to you and said, "Here's a blank piece of paper. Tell us who we want, and we'll make it happen."
I would say if I want to commentate the matches, I would say let's go first to my first favorite match I want to commentate. I would say Hulk Hogan against Sergeant Slaughter,
Ooh.
because that was like the first ever match I grew up watching Hulk Hogan, and I would love to commentate that match growing up in the business. And then I would say second match that I want to commentate is that my second favorite wrestler growing up is Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, the Iron Man match.
Nice.
hmm And then I would say the third final match that I want to commentate, let's say, you know, getting onto this generations, I want to say, that I want to commentate. I would say that hyped up icon versus icon, the Stone Cold versus The Rock WrestleMania 17.
Nice. I love those choices. Uh,
Thank you.
so with your like enthusiasm and personality, have you ever thought about like managing? Because I think like with your like I said, with your enthusiasm, you would be pretty good at that.
Yes, I did was gonna become manager, but the thing is that with me, just me, I don't know about my teammates, but just me, you know, speaking of being a manager inside in the wrestling business, I do want to become a manager, but the problem is to let you guys know it's my condition because I could say that I have chronic gout and arthritis, and
Got
it's hard for me just to walk or to walk a lot, especially if you want to become a manager in wrestling, just to get up in the ring, down the ring, walking around, toying with the wrestlers and everybody. But I wish to become a manager, but you know, to be if you want to be part of the business, the best I can do is just sit down, don't move a lot, and just call out the matches, just doing commentary and podcasts and interviews, and that's how I can get close, to being part of the action, in the business.
absolutely. I can possibly see you knowing that now, and I completely understand because I'm in a wheelchair also. So that
hmm
you just gotta go with what you got. But I can see you as like a like maybe like a commissioner, like a GM, like a Teddy Long type. You know,
Yeah, I can do
that
that.
that type of personality type thing.
Yeah, if Randy Rude makes me like Teddy Long or Eric Bischoff, I'll do it. But you know, it's he's the ones that's calling the match, and I have no problems with that.
See, you heard it here first, Randy. You got to make this guy like a like a GM commissioner.
Yeah,
Um,
Uh,
I
sounds
mean,
good. Yeah.
Randy Rude knows me really well, and if he wants me to do it, I can be the second or third guy, like going in the ring, like, hey, you know. We're going to have this following next matchup, next event. This person and this person in a, steel cage, coffin match, or falls count anywhere. I can do it. You know, Randy Rude just had to tell me like, hey, I can be the second or third guy. Just bust on stage, and calling what's the next, what we can do for the next matchup, the next event.
sounds good to me. Uh, so my favorite snack is anything with peanut butter and chocolate. Um, what's your favorite snack or cookie and why?
My favorite cookies, I would say peanut butter, and I eat like any kinds of beef jerkies, and And also I love eating
Nice.
what you call it, Doritos and chips, whatever. It keeps me snacking on while I was doing commentary at CSW. So like off, like when during between matches breaking, I just had to be snacking and eat my favorite snack just to get myself hyped up. You know,
Well,
every
I
time I
mean,
call out
you
the matches.
yeah, you put so much energy into it, you got to keep the carbo load going just to give yourself some more.
Oh yeah, that's how I do it. I eating my favorite snacks and always bring that energy up, calling out the matches at CSW or anywhere doing interviews.
So, if you could commentate for any of the four major promotions, being WWE, AEW, Impact, or New Japan, which one would you choose and why?
I would choose AEW because WWE they're already all set. But I like AEW doing the commentary because, like I said, everybody's bringing wrestlers from the indie business to AEW. So doing that is like I already know what I'm doing because I see a lot of guys that wrestle from the indie business to AEW wrestlers. I can pretty know what I'm doing, and bringing out the wrestlers info to the stage, to the ring from at AEW.
Completely agree with that. I think you're right. I think AEW does do a better job of including the indies.
Yes, because I already know that for example that I see this individual a lot at CSW, and he's my daughter's favorite. I always say that outside the business, he's also my favorite growing up. Being part of CSW through AEW, that I know that he's like a surprisingly showing up. I will say that I want to put him more up there, other than this individual, other than Ryzen.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah,
Rise.
Ryzen. Yeah, because when I saw him at EW, I was like, I hope this man, they're bringing him up some more. But seeing him in CSW, to AEW, I would say, you know, Ryzen and everything.
I 100% agree with that. I think Ryzen is one of the character wise is one of the better wrestlers out there. I mean, and I mean what I mean by that is people sometimes don't know what their character is, and they kind of have to like find what their character is. To
Mm-hmm.
me, Ryzen knows what his character is, and he nails it every time. Like,
Exactly. He can pull out the promos. He can pull up the mic in the ring, and his skill wise, I can see that he's up there for me, and he's the 7-1 CSW 719 champion with CSW, and
yep,
I want to see that that he can if AEW can build his character more with the company. That's why like I said, AEW is the company that I love. If they can bring up some more with the indie wrestlers that we know with the company.
the match that I would like to see him in uh, CSW, and it might have happened already, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again because I think their characters have evolved. Is him and Johnny Crash. I know Crash is
Ooh,
going after the heavyweight title, but I mean I think the two of them could have a killer match.
I would see that. I think, yeah. I don't know if they wrestled once because there was a lot of great matches at CSW I commentate, and I remember Johnny Crash did had a part being in the dark side with the Games Master, and Ryzen did his part on, his side on his run. But I would love to see that. Maybe we should tell Randy Root. Maybe we can see that match with the insatiable Johnny Crash against Rice in one of these events.
I'm thinking that would be as Big Money Dodge says, that would be a big money match.
Money
So
match.
Yeah, to see Johnny Crash and Ryzen, but maybe one day they might pull it off and see what they can go through with CSW.
So Nathan, since you've got the voice of CSW on, why don't you go over the headlocks for hospice card?
that's
Oh yeah.
what my next step was going to be. So can you tell us a little bit about the headlocks for hospice? We know Panda's taking on Taya.
Oh yeah, Tyra Rusame. Oh man, so far with Headlock for Hospice goes, and what I heard from the company, do you know it's a charity event? So each match will have like special kind of charity, just to donate money for the company and for our kinds of raise for money for charity. But like what you said, going for Headlock for Hospice, I can't wait. It's one of the moments that I can't wait. If Pandemonium can see that if she can dethrone uh, Tyra Rusame for the CSW Championship, because this event marks Tyra Rusame as the CSW champion for 1 year. And during that 1 year defending that title, the past 1 year that Tyra Rusame been champion for CSW, I remember there were like a couple matches that she did a triple threat or did one-on-one with Panda, but Panda during that time, she was a rising star. She was debuting her matches, and she was you know you know um say that she was learning. She was like see what she can develop, to be stronger every matches. But I seen Panda and Tyra, they fought together in the past, but Panda was not ready yet because she was a growing star, and that's how Tyra keep winning and retaining her CSW Women's Champions match. But after when Panda did face like Kate Aver or Gussie Steele and those other individual, that makes Panda, you know, growing and stronger, and she developed more than what she can try to get her hands on that CSW, title. So when I see Panda wins the Red Rock Rumble, like what we talked about earlier before, and capture our first Spring into Action Red Rock Rumble Championship, I could tell that her strength, her, never give up. I see that she's ready for one more time against Tyra, and see if she can capture that CSW championship this Saturday at Headlock for Hospice.
Yes, and then I think it's Type 1 Warrior versus I Am the Provider, if I remember the card.
Yeah,
Yes, you're
yes.
correct.
Another main event that I see Type 1 Warrior against I Am the Provider. Man, um, I Am the Provider. That dude, I can say this. That dude is pretty much the sneaky bastard at CSW. Because I grew up seeing Iron Provider from the first moment I saw him until now, and I can say that that guy is a pretty much sneaky bastard because he has to find his way to win matches with his Colts, and the Colt always had to help him to win that CSW championship. And my God, I am provider. But Type One Warrior, I would say that Type One, growing up with him, he's a young kid, growing up here in Springs and been, fighting hard through the business. And I can't wait. I love to see that he finally earned his shot, being at the to face I am the provider for that CSW championship. I can't wait. So Type on Warrior, if he's watching this, I got my you know you know uh on his side to call out the match if he can win that. I guess I am the provider. I can't wait.
And then you brought up Kay Daver uh, before, and I believe she's taking on AJ. I don't know his.
They, you
It's
believe they?
RJ Kernan.
Sorry. Yeah, I believe they're taking on him. And if you haven't heard their promo that they cut about that match, Mister Randy Root, you better have some medical staff and maybe like a hearse in the back. And Mr. AJ, you might want to have your life insurance paid up because uh, Miss K Daver ain't gonna play. So I mean,
Yeah, we'll see what's going on because Kay Daver, when she debuted at CSW, and I would say that woman is a beast. She's really a beast, and she can scare the whole women's division of CSW, and she's a powerhouse. But as for RJ Kernan, that's just going to go against Kate Daver, he need to get himself prepared because RJ Kernan, my guy from Sun Valley, you can think that you can relax yourself and you think you're cool that that you got this. But I can say that RJ Kernan, he has to be careful with K Dabber because K Dabber can pull out all those hidden, scared tricks tactics on RJ Kernan. So RJ, you gotta watch out. You gotta prepare, my man. I know you're a tough guy, but K Dabber is one hell of a beast of a woman's in that division in CSW.
so um, are there any other matches that you've heard of about the card that we haven't covered yet?
Well, as far as I know, we talk about our I am the provider in Type One Warrior Pandemonium against Tyra Rusame. Oh yeah, we got another matchup that I heard that it was going to be headlock for hospice. You got hometown Jack Dillon against Ryzen for the CSW 719 championship.
Ooh, that should be
Yeah,
a pretty nasty match. Eh?
yeah, because I interviewed Jack Dillon for the past couple months, and I remember from the post show interview with at the Red Rock Rumble with Jack Dillon after his coming back from his injury. He said this in our post show interview that is on Facebook. He said that straight up, he called out Ryzen. And I was like, wow, like that's what he want to start with, Jack Dillon. I was like, wow, after coming back from his shoulder injury, you called out Ryzen, the 719 champion. And he said, I'm ready for it. And he wants to capture the gold at CSW. And this past event, I thought that he was gonna have his match with Ryzen at Batter Up, but all if you watch that event, Ryzen cut a promo from the Tron saying that he thinks that Jack Dillon was not ready, so
Yep.
Ryzen want Jack Dillon to have a match with Killian Crow, and I would say when I call out that match, Jack Dillon, he looks 100% good, healthy. I think he did really want call out Ryzen like he wants them. So I guess this match at Hillock for Hospice, we'll see. I guess Dillon is ready, and Ryzen has to be fully prepared. This matchup at Hillock for Hospice.
Yeah, I mean, you can be prepared like for Ryzen, but that man can always pull a surprise out of his hat. Like,
Yeah, I could tell you that Ryzen, yeah, any individual like Ryzen, he can pull out some tricks up his sleeves and see what he can do against Jack Dillon. And Jack Dillon has to be very careful if he wants to capture that 719 championship against Ryzen. So he has to be prepared because Ryzen, we never know what he's gonna pull out of his sleeves like this coming Saturday at Hemlock for Hospice.
so I mean, it has to be a rewarding feeling to work for a company that does so much for like the charities, like with Rude's Heroes and Headlocks for Hospice and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to work for a company like that?
I feel great. I feel great with doing with CSW because, like I said, Springs to Action started with CSW. Started, at also getting to know Randy Rude at his garage. So with CSW, it and Randy Rude, it grows with Springers to Action. It gives us love and support, from the fans and whatever we do just to pull it out, just to have that business with us, just to show everybody out there that watching on YouTube what is CSW about, because we were like one of the first ones, did the interviews, pull out there for social media with CSW, plus calling out the matches and putting the whole event out there on YouTube. So when people that loves the business and loves wrestling and want to check out CSW, that's what we do, and that's what we love to do, and support CSW, for the company, for all of us, throughout the whole event, throughout social media.
And your guys' commentary team, whether it's you and Mike or before he goes and does the camera, at the beginning of your stuff, or you and Dave or whoever comes in as a special commentary, has like a very awesome dynamic. Can you tell us a little bit about how that goes? Because you guys are so different, you know.
Yeah, because not just me, my friend Mike, my one of my I'll say my one of my good friends, my best friends, Mike. He studies and knows each of us character wise or in our member. So pretty much what Mike said that okay, he said that I'm like the architect because I got the brains like what how our character goes. And then Mike said that he called himself the juggernaut because he likes to be a tough guy in the ring with the camera and trying to be tough, you know, pushing, like interviews and, thoughts on a wrestler. But Dave, I would say Dave, he's more sided of the heel characters. because when we do commentaries, who's gonna pull up the good side? Me. I'm like neutral. And then
Yeah.
who's gonna pull out the hillside? It's Dave right there. So Dave, my guy, he likes to pull out, um, you know, the characters on his side for calling out the matches. So that's how I like, the bonding with Dave, that, he goes for one side, I go for one side, and it works real well that it kind of, match up and give us like a Dave versus Rowell on commentary. Like, oh yeah, we're going for this guy. Oh, you're going for this guy. Okay, let's see this. Let's call out the matches and see what we go through. So Dave, I love my guy Dave, because Dave, him and me grew up in high school, grew up in wrestling and brought him to CSW. So yeah, Dave, I, he's doing really well starting, with Spring is the action and commentary table with CSW. I got to give it out to Dave.
Yeah, and like I said, I love it because, like you said, you're have the excitement, and then he's kind of like, kind of the badass, like, commentator that like you wouldn't want to meet behind the building, kind of, you know.
Yeah, it's like me. I want to be. I want to do that. Like commentary, like me. I'm like, JR, he's like Jerry King Lawler, or I'm like Tony
Yep.
Schiavone, he's like Taz, and everything. That's how commentary works. We just need to have somebody like me and Dave, like one side you build up, the face character, him, build up the Hill character. So I like to see that me and Dave keep going as commentary to build up that in the on the company.
I would completely agree. Um, so if you could set up one WrestleMania card from any generation, let's go 6 matches. Who would be on the card?
Ooh, for WrestleMania, are you saying like from the past meet presents?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I would say one. I see this a lot. I want to see um Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles. How's that?
Ooh, nice.
And number two, I would see let's say the women's match. I would say from the past or present, I would say I want to see if Sable can face Rhea Ripley.
Ooh,
Yeah. Number three, I would go with Ric Flair versus The Rock.
nice.
hmm And then number four, I want to see who has the ring skills with Party Mouth. Who has the party mouth, good party mouth? I would say Bret Hart versus CM Punk.
Ooh, like
hmm
that one.
Oh yes. And then I want to see okay, like generation to generations. I will see like from my 80s versus 90s. I want to see Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold.
Oh, love it.
Yes. And that was like, the top five that I want to see. That's my WrestleMania card right there.
Very nice. Um, so, uh, there you go. You're back. Uh,
Yes.
so what advice would you give somebody that wanted to get into the wrestling business or into commentary?
Come at that again.
What advice would you give somebody that wanted to get into the wrestling business or commentary?
Oh, I will say that this is how I will do it. Listen to yourself. Um, Follow your dreams. It's like when you watch the ones on, if you watch the WWE or AEW in the event, and if you're a big fan out there, I would say this to myself too: follow your dreams, follow that you love to do, and see if you can attend, one the indie business. And if you attend the indie business, if you want to start something on your own, like I said, just do it. See if you can try your hardest. See if you have the voice, the strength, and everything. I would tell those individuals, like, just follow your dreams. You know, just do it. That's what you know. You always have to say to everybody, just listen to yourself. Everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for being on this morning.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it.
and do you have anything that you want to promote? I mean, I know we promoted headlocks for hospice and stuff, but any like events or anything that you might be at that?
Um, the events and everything. I would say this. Yeah, with CSW, I'm always there because we still have a best friend connection with Randy Rude and some other events out there. You might never know what springs to action. If something comes up with other promotions or other event, never know. We'll be there. Depends on the schedule wise.
Sounds good. And where can people find you on social media or find the Spring into Action podcast?
Like I said, if everybody's watching this, if you want to check out Spring is the Action, follow us on Spring is the Action, with the S, Springs with the SPRINGS, into action, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. So, like I said to people out there, when you go to on Facebook, all the post shows and interviews are on Facebook. Just remember that. And then if you want to watch and recap, the events of CSW or any podcast, it's on YouTube. So hope you guys check it out all the time on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, now I want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors, which the first one is for the Big Money Compound, which starting in July for $25 every Tuesday and Thursday, or $150 a month. He will be doing, to my knowledge, the first ever online wrestling training school. Uh, and so that's Tuesdays and Thursdays in July, $25 per session, and $150 for a month. And his first trainer is SoCal Crazy, and you can follow the information on that at Big Money Compound on Instagram, and look and Big Money Dodge on Facebook. Also, I want to thank the CARE program, which stands for Community Action Reaching Everybody. And to get a hold of the lady there, you can get a hold of Becky Bernhardt. And then Bruce Nichols Painting for all your painting, pressure washing, and lead removal needs. And you can find him on Angie's. So once again, Mr. Roland, thank you very much for being on. Keep up the good work on the commentary, and um, you have a great rest of your day.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. And I will say thank you for watching Spring is the Action, and we guys will see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.